İstanbul Kültür Sanat Vakfı sadece festivaller ve etkinlikler yapan bir kurum değil, aynı zamanda uzun vadeli kültürel işbirliklerini de kurup yürütmeyi de kendisine misyon edinmiş bir kurum. Dolayısıyla İskoçya ile Türkiye arasında kurulmuş bir ilişkinin sadece karşılıklı etkinlikler yapmak açısından önem taşımasının ötesinde iki ülke arasında birbirini daha iyi anlamak, diyalog kurmak, birlikte ortak üretim yapmak açısından da ilerisi için çok büyük önem taşıdığını düşünüyorum. Benim 2024 yılında İskoçya'ya yapmış olduğum ve ağırlıklı olarak Edinburgh Festivali'nde geçirmiş olduğum dönem benim için çok çok faydalı oldu. Çünkü hem İskoç kültürünü daha yakından tanıma fırsatını elde etmiş oldum. Kültür kurumlarıyla çok yakından ilişkide bulunmuş oldum. Hem de aynı zamanda İstanbul Kültür Sanat Vakfı'nın düzenlediği festivaller için ilham verici fikirler elde etmiş oldum.
I'm International Officer at Creative Scotland, and this is just fantastic to be at this event, but also here in Istanbul for the whole week. Creative Scotland works with British Council Scotland on a partnership together, and this trip is part of a wider target working with Turkey over the last now 3 years, which has been part of our Momentum Delegate programme, where we've had 2 previous Turkey delegations, and we've got another third coming up in August. But this is the first opportunity where we're taking this time to actually come over and visit Istanbul, because reciprocity is really important to us. So making sure that all the connections that we're instigating between Scotland and Turkey are really mutually beneficial, and we're understanding each other's context, because I think it's been lovely to have these delegates coming over from Turkey and hosting them in Scotland, and we've been able to show them the festivals, we've been able to show them the wider Scottish landscape, but now we get to go and see actually what's going on in Istanbul, what's going on the ground, really understand the questions that arts organisations and artists are asking themselves, and the kinds of themes that might be interesting to work together on. And I think what's been wonderful about part of this week is to see what's already growing.
I'm director of Cove Park, and Cove Park is an international residency based on Scotland's west coast, and we offer residencies to local, national and international artists, bringing together over 300 artists a year. We have a number of ongoing long-term partnerships with international collaboration partners and organisations, and what's key to the success of those, I think, is when the institutions have the opportunity to visit each other, and the people that are providing the framework and the context that the artists will work in get the opportunity to understand what those contexts and different cultural situations are, and that understanding is much more beneficial for the artists when they visit the countries and the reciprocal exchanges happen.
During my time here in Istanbul, I'm really keen to understand how the independent theatre sector is actually generating new work and allowing space for different voices and different stories to emerge. When you're working in theatre production, space for new writing and the space for the creation of ideas from the very beginning rather than adaptations, sort of co-produced works, that can be quite challenging, and it can be even more challenging in a city as large as this when you're trying to build cultural connection. So for me, being here and listening and observing not just actually how the theatre space works, but how visual artists are creating work, how dancers are coming together, and how some of that interdisciplinary collaboration is adding value to how we might together find pathways for these stories and these voices to find air to breathe, and I guess to accept stories take iterations and stories take time to evolve and to grow, that I'm not going to come here and immediately make a successful internationally touring piece of work. So it's really, for me, about starting some conversations about where we might go long term and building collaborations that are rooted in shared set of values about whose story we're telling and why, and how we're telling those stories together in our similarities as well as our differences as nations.
Tabii geçen sene İskoçya'ya gidiş çok öğreticiydi benim için. Çünkü dünyanın her yerinden tiyatro üreticileri, karar vericiler bir araya gelmişti. En enteresan yanı da benzer problemlerin yaşandığını görmek enteresan aslında. Güzel olan yanı sanırım bir dayanışma ağı oluşma ihtimali var burada. Birbirimizden öğrenme şansımız var. Benim için geçen senenin en keyifli yanı buydu sanırım. Bir yandan da tabii benzer kısıtlarla çalışıyoruz. İskoçya'da benzer kısıtlar var mesela, bizde de. Başka biçimlerde ama benzer kısıtlar. Bu kısıtlarla nasıl baş edildiğine şahit olmak benim için çok faydalıydı. Şimdi bu kısıtlar tabii çok yaratıcı çözümlere sebep oluyor bir yandan da. Bu kısıtların getirdiği bir takım estetik sonuçlar da var, iyi ya da kötü. Bana göre bu yaratıcı stratejiler bir araya geldiğinde mesela sanatçı değişim programları, ortak yapım ihtimalleri ya da sadece bizim adımızda değil, herkes adına bir takım yerel hikayelerin uluslararası alanda paylaşılması ihtimalleri var. Bana çok büyük potansiyel var gibi geliyor. Bu birliktelikten iyi bir potansiyel doğabilir gibi geliyor açıkçası.
I think that tonight does serve as a reminder that even in times of adversity, we can come together to share common values and culture. So this reception and programme is actually about that. It's about connection. It's about curiosity, exchange and creative dialogue that endures well beyond just a single visit. And the relationship between Turkey and the UK, or Turkey and the UK, in culture and the arts is long-standing and deeply rooted. And actually, secondly, Scotland and Turkey share more than just a commitment to creativity. They share cities that live and breathe it. And I understand that tonight we have representatives from Argyll, Dundee, Edinburgh and Glasgow, and of course, Istanbul. And these are all cities where culture is not just peripheral, but it's central to life in these cities. And the Momentum programme is a powerful example of how these connections are nurtured and sustained between our cities and between our country.
Events like this remind us why cultural connection matters, not as an abstract idea, but as a lived and shared experience. The British Council's been working to create dialogue between Turkey and the UK for over 8 decades. Throughout that time, our role has remained consistent: to build trust, foster understanding, and support meaningful collaboration through culture, education, and the arts. We believe that long-term relationships between people, institutions, and ideas are the foundation of lasting international partnership. Building on the legacy of the Momentum Focus Country Türkiye programme, this visit aims to deepen connections between Scotland and Turkey's creative sectors, foster mutual learning, and identify opportunities for future collaboration. It reflects a shared commitment to investing time, care, and curiosity in one another's creative ecosystems. During this week, our delegates from Scotland are visiting a wide range of cultural institutions across Istanbul. I think it's something like 23. It's an enormous number. So these include public art institutions, universities, residency programs, and private and independent art spaces.
Having Turkey as one of our focus countries over several years has not only sparked the connections, but it has also led to Turkish delegates attending Sonica Festival in Glasgow and Celtic Connections Festival. We've had 2 delegations in over the last 2 years, which has been phenomenal. And we do, as you might have sensed, we love our festivals. In fact, it's wonderful to see some friends from last year. In these interesting times, it is truly an honour to be able to be here, to travel to be with you all and to make new friends. I can honestly say it's a privilege to stand here and represent the delegations where not only maintain but continue to evolve as young people come through and learn their history and their heritage and new cultures and weave into that as the population of Scotland evolves, which is exciting as well. It's egalitarian, it's dynamic, it's connected, not just within Scotland but within the UK and the wider world.